Hello buddy, my name is Cameron Brown and a warm welcome to the How To Cameron channel and welcome to my second episode of Not To Be Controversial But. So the point of this series is me just talking about probably very unpopular opinions I have. Now today's video, chances are won't be that unpopular of a video. I feel like a lot of people will actually resonate with this video, hence it won't be that controversial. But it could go two ways, it could be the complete opposite. So let's see how it goes. The first episode of this series, it didn't do great, but you know what, I enjoyed making the video and at the end of the day that's what matters. Smash a like on this video if you enjoy it. Remember, subscribe to my channel if you are new today so you don't miss out on my amazing content. I know how much you guys want to watch my content. So today I want to talk about being a man, being masculine, etc. So obviously masculinity is a topic that I can quite easily talk about because one, I am very masculine, and two, because I mostly hang out with guys anyway, so I'm very experienced when it comes to the topic of masculinity. So masculinity, the premises of this topic, stereotype of being a man, getting loads of pussy, sorry, not caring about other people, being strong, being able to defend yourself, being able to attack, and also just being cool. That's mainly what masculinity is about. I honestly don't like masculinity at all, and I think it's extremely stupid. I just think the whole concept of it is stupid, and I just don't like it at all, and that's what I'm going to be complaining about in today's video. I know that this video won't be that unpopular. I know a lot of people who watch this video will agree with me, but I know that the people who will disagree with it a lot. And because of that, I feel like that's why this video will be controversial. So straight off the bat, masculinity is pretty much the premises of being an alpha male, behaving in a specific way to come across as manly. That's what masculinity is. Obviously for women there's femininity. I don't know what the word is, okay? Guys, I'm showing my masculinity here, being stupid, lol. Great. But with females, you know, females, the stereotype of femininity, I don't know what the hell it's called, being a woman, is being emotional, liking the colour pink, liking woman stuff. It's very general, okay? And I think generally speaking, straight off the bat, let me clear something up, okay? I believe in equal rights for both men and women, but I do not agree with men and women being the same, okay? I'm sorry to say, but I hear loads of people go, oh, men and women, there's no difference between them. Yes, there is. There are a few differences, not massive differences, which justify, you know, treating one gender better than the other, or sex actually, but there is differences between men and women. There's different hormones, there's different strength. Men are generally stronger and bigger. Women generally have a higher body fat percentage. General physical features are different. You know, men do not normally have boobs unless they are morbidly overweight. And then you also have different emotional capacities, different mentalities. Women generally are more emotional. The same with races. You know, there is differences between different races of people. But that doesn't mean you should treat any races differently, I don't think. When it comes to genders and sex, I want to mention this clearly. For me, personally, I consider people by sex. I do not care about gender. Gender is something that does not bother me. You are what you are when you're born. If you do not agree with that, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. And I will respect whatever you want to be as your gender. But I feel like gender should override sex. If your gender is aligned with your sex, that's great. But if you don't like your sex, you can be a gender. That's how I think gender and sex should work. So for me, I think there's two sexes, but unlimited number of genders. But quite frankly, I don't care. Okay, that's just the fact of the matter. But I do respect people who aren't comfortable in their sex and want to be considered as a different gender. But I feel like people then too deeply associate genders and things, so you need to calm down, okay? So let me talk about things I don't like about being a man in general or being a masculine man. Yes. So number one, the first thing I do not like is the lack of expression of emotions. Now, I want to clarify that this video might sound ridiculous, and it's meant to sound ridiculous, because I'm not talking about being a man in general, I'm talking about being a man in society. Like being a society, like a society-built man, like someone who is masculine, how men are normally regarded in media, for example, I don't know. How losers think men should be. So the first thing is, straight off the bat, is emotions. If you're a guy and you want to be masculine, emotions are very much looked down on. Actually, no, let me rephrase that. Expressing emotions are normally looked down on. which is stupid because expressing emotions is the best way to cope with emotions. You know, I feel like a lot of people look down on men who cry. People look down on men who are struggling with mental health, and for me, that's completely unacceptable. But what I think is interesting is just how there's such a stigma with sharing emotions. I know this firsthand, you know, specifically with breakups, for example. If you're a man and you break up with someone or they break up with you, you're kind of forced to take this approach of, I'm strong, emotions are not going to get to me, I'm going to get through this myself, and screw all women. Urgh. That's what masculinity kind of funds. Like, that's how, if you want to be masculine, people think you should deal with it. But being a man in that aspect really sucks. And it's so true that people feed in to that stereotype of trying to be like that. There's a reason why men generally find breakups much, much harder than women. Mostly because women, they talk to their friends about the breakup because they're not bothered about looking weak. They're emotional about how they feel. They're emotional, etc., etc. And because of that, people can give them empathy. With guys, it's much harder. It's harder to get empathy from a guy because I feel like emotions naturally look down on when it comes to men, and that sucks. And I know a lot of people may see that as petty, but if you're in that situation, trust me, you will not think it's petty. Number 2 is facial hair. It's a bit of a change. I hate facial hair so much, and I feel like the stereotype of being a man or whatever is to have facial hair. I personally hate facial hair. Sometimes I have facial hair. I mean, you can kind of tell I have hair like on the sides, I guess, and probably a bit of neck beard and crap. But pretty much, it looks a lot worse in real life. It's because of the light. I shave like 2, 3, 4 times a week sometimes, and it's really hard for me to keep clean shaven thanks to genetics. But I personally hate flipping facial hair with a passion. Literally, so many guys have facial hair. It's just not good. That's how I see it, because I remember when I was at school, you know, facial hair would be like, whoa, all the old guys, oh, they have facial hair. That's so cool. But when you actually become older, like as I grown up, I realized that every guy seems to have facial hair, and it's really tacky. It just is. Guys, I'm not sorry because I can't grow good facial hair. Let me clarify that. That is definitely not true. I think it just makes you look poor and old. So if you want to look poor and old, go ahead. But genuinely speaking, I just don't like facial hair, and I would hate to have it myself. So that's what I don't like about masculinity, okay? I know that might seem a bit petty, but whatever. Number 3 is body type. I feel like a lot of guys are really conscious of being big. You know, they want to be heavy, they want to be strong. People who are trying to be masculine, they look down on people who aren't like that. So pretty much with me, I've always been tall and thin. That's how I've been all my life. Only now I'm considered healthy weight for my height. And man, okay, that is a lot of effort to get to that point. Okay, trust me, I work out a lot and I have to eat a lot just to get into healthy weight. Wow, okay. But seriously, I have a really fast metabolism, and also just based on my genetics and things, I don't gain weight very quickly at all. And also strength, I'm quite strong, but it just doesn't result in that much muscle for me because I have such long arms. My arm muscles look much smaller just because I have long arms. If they were shorter, I'd have massive biceps, guys. This is definitely true. I am not coming up with excuses because I have twig arms. Oh no, guys. Being masculine involves putting down specific people to feel better about yourself, like men. So you'll have some guys who are, you know, normal height, whatever. They're quite big. They go to the gym, obviously. Like, they're not humongous. You know, I've known people who literally think they're massive, right? They're shorter than me, and I'm thin, yeah, but I still weigh the same as them. So I'm just saying, they're not that big, okay? They just look big because they're shorter, you know? Because they've got a smaller frame. But they'll happily pick on me, you know, they'll call me lanky, they'll maybe make fun of my shoulders, and that's just something I don't like about masculinity. I feel like being masculine involves putting down other people, other men, who are less dominant, I guess, because they're weaker. And it's just ridiculous, because I think men, generally, men who don't have normal body shapes, like, they have to kind of compensate for it. And that's what short man syndrome is. A lot of men, they want to be 6 foot, man. That's all they want. That's all they want. Ugh. It's so petty, because I'll be like, oh yeah, I don't care about height. But then they'll be like, oh guys, I am 6 foot, I promise. They're just not. That's so funny. But seriously, a lot of people, when they're like shorter and they see someone who's much taller, but they're thin, they pick on them. Not because they're bad people, because they deserve to be picked on, nothing like that. Just because they're jealous of their height, and they also want to compensate for their shorter stature by being big and angry. Grr. And I know people from my school who are exactly like this. Like, they'll be short, so they'll just be overly aggressive in hopes to assert dominance, which just seems so petty, and that's literally what masculinity is about. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was just the treatment of women in general. I don't want to make this point to elevate me and make me seem like a moral person, but I do feel like masculinity teaches guys and men to just not treat women very well. You know, I know a couple of guys who have girlfriends and they'll constantly like chat shit about them and make fun of them or show their nudes to other guys, and it just seems a bit weird, to be honest. I think a lot of masculinity is about showing off a girlfriend as a trophy rather than a person. And I just think that sucks kind of, because obviously she's not a trophy, she's a girlfriend, you know. I think it's very different in that aspect. But I think it's just kind of crazy how like guys are like that with girlfriends, and I've been like that before. I'm not saying that, not with the specific example I brought up, but I'm just saying that I've learned from it. But I know that with masculinity, a lot of being a masculine is hiding again your feelings. If you have a girlfriend that you really love, you know, it's very easy when you're with other guys to actually just treat her like a trophy and as an object. And just on that basis, I think that's crazy. It really is. Anyway, I don't know how this video turned out. It was a video that I was kind of like half gonna make, half not gonna make. I feel like I did come up with some good points. I'm just trying to think what content I want to make on the channel, because obviously, yeah, my channel isn't doing great. So if my channel's not doing great, I'm not going to focus too hard on trying to get views. I might as well make content I actually really enjoy watching. I think that's more important, because it'll make it easier for me just to cope with getting less views. Guys, I'm not depressed. Smash like. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like. I need to stop saying smash like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new today, and I'll be seeing you guys later. Bye.